Hey besties, if you like gist, you will like today's video because I'll be giving you the tea on the jobs I did as an international student in the UK. So if you're watching me for the first time, my name is Adaeze Osadebe, aka the Legal Pepper, and I've been in the UK for 2 years and a lot of months. I can't remember right now. And I was an international student for 2 good years. So you know that I have a lot of tea on the jobs I've done. And I'll be telling you the pros and cons of all the jobs. I have about 6 jobs I'll be talking about today. Out of those 6 jobs, numbers 3, 5, and 6 have the most tea, and I will tell you why. So the first work I did was being a domiciliary care worker. Now, if you don't understand that English, it is basically being a healthcare worker and you're going from home to home. That job was the first job I did as a new student. So my first week in the UK, I did not apply to any job. The next week, I applied to a lot of organizations, and that same week, I got multiple job interview offers. The domiciliary care work, before I bite my tongue, I got the job like on the spot and I was so excited. Then jobs were easier to get compared to now because then we were fewer international students. So as I got the job, I started. Now the pay was about £10. But the issue with the job, okay, let me first talk about the things I like and the things I dislike. Okay, the first thing I like about the job is just that the job gave me my first source of income in the UK. Because if you are new to the UK, you would know that the last thing you want to do is to be spending naira or to be converting naira. I know some people that struggled with jobs to the point that they will be asking for money back home and be converting to pounds. Like, that is so challenging because we know that naira compared to pounds is like so to convert it is just not it. But for me, thankfully, I didn't have to do any of those things because of this domiciliary care work that really helped me. That job is a job I'm so grateful for because it had a very low barrier to entry and it gave me my first source of income in the UK, which was but the job came with a lot of disadvantages, a lot. Where would I start from? Number one, I was not being paid per hour. It was not £10 per hour. There's where they used to calculate it. So normally a job should pay you per hour, but their own, they would explain it like per call. So because it's domiciliary, I would have to go to people's homes. So let's say I'm going to home A now. So I maybe spend 30 minutes in that home. That's the 30 minutes that will be counted. Now, when I walk, because it's usually me trekking, when I walk from home A to home B, that time is not accounted for. So let's say I spend 15 minutes walking. That 15 minutes, Otilo, it has gone. Then it's now, let me say the 30 minutes I now spend in home B that will now count. And so I was not paid per hour, I was paid per the number of time I spent in the client's home, which was such a huge disadvantage to me. Like, I would literally go to work. It's as if I was doing 25 hours work to get 20 hours pay, because I realized that I was working way more than other people that I knew working in other care organizations. So because this was domiciliary, I would literally work a lot of hours, but the pay was just not adding up. That's just the thing. So that was one bad thing. The next bad thing, for this one, I have many bad things. So the next bad thing is the fact that it is domiciliary. You're going to people's homes, and for me, I do not like the idea of going to anybody's home. Like, no, I want to stay in my house. But now you're going to someone's home. So that was just a lot for me to deal with. Number 3, a lot of these people have a lot of animals. It's in the UK I realized that people have tortoise as pets. I've seen someone that has bird, peacock, there's one other animal I'm trying to remember, is it chameleon or something? I can't remember. Like, there is no animal I've not seen as pets, because I used to think it's just cat and dog, but umbano, the things I saw, I was like, no. They will not say, no, it will not bite, it will not bite. How would I know it will not bite? Please take it away from me. So most times I would always be fighting. Like I'll enter a person's house, I'll be wondering which breed of animal is going to be there. I say, wow, UK, you people really like animals a lot. The good thing is that when you are doing domiciliary care work, when you start going there like a lot of times, you become acquainted with them and their animals. So that would make it easier, but it was still a lot for me. Also, being a black person was a lot, going into people's homes. Most of the clients though were quite like civil, they were quite nice. You would just get the odd client that would want to be asking you if you are coming from a forest, or they'll just be asking very stupid questions about Africa. And I'm like, I'm Nigerian, but they'll be asking you about Africa. I'm like, I'm Nigerian. You know, people that think Africa is a country, people that cannot deduce the fact that being in the UK does not mean I'm from one local village or anything. So that was just a lot. Then also everybody, your hair, is this your new hair? Because me, I'll go with different wigs. So every week they're telling me, you change your hair. Your hair is now short. Your hair is now... Guinea. So that was just it about that job. Then I ended up leaving the job because of the people I worked with, like the managers. They were very, very, very silly. That was the thing. At this point, I'm tired of even calling people racist, because that's the word. Because they'll just be acting like you are nobody. I beg. It was just not working for me. Then also, I started having back pain. Now, when I'm talking about this domiciliary care work, I'm sure you would have expected me to talk about the job itself, because many people would find that an issue, but I really didn't. So for the domiciliary care work, you are literally going to be doing a lot of personal care, a lot, the whole 9 yards. Just think about it. Almost all the clients were incontinent. This domiciliary care work, there are various shifts. So morning staff will come, afternoon staff, evening staff, go and care for them, and that was it. Now, before coming to the UK, when I used to hear about people that would say, you clean bum, you do this, I used to cringe, because I'm like, because personally I find things very irritating easily. So I just felt that it's not it for me. But the funny thing is that when I started the job, I actually loved it. Like, I really, really loved it. And it felt very odd to say, because how can you be loving what everyone hates? But I genuinely loved it. Like, caring for these vulnerable adults. Oh my God, it was really beautiful. I was not even irritated the way I thought I was not irritated. I almost saw it as service. Like, it almost felt like a ministry, and this may sound very stupid, I know, but that's how it felt. But it started having an effect on my back, because a lot of my clients were like heavier than me. I have a small frame, so it was very difficult for me. Most times I would come back home and my back is paining me. I'm wondering, how is my back paining me? Like, what's the correlation between doing this care work and back pain? But I was always having back pain. Then also leg pain, like trekking. Me, I don't like trekking at all, but I had to trek. In fact, when I just became serious with this YouTube channel, I posted a lot about that domiciliary care work. In fact, I was always complaining, because it was just a lot. About jobs, one thing I believe is that once you start complaining about the job, then it's time to start looking for an exit. As I was doing the job, I started applying again to other companies, and I got this next job, which is support work. Now remember, I said numbers 3, 5, and 6 are the ones with the juice. Don't worry, I'll explain. Now, for this number 2, support work, it was such a breath of fresh air. If you've transitioned from being a care worker or a healthcare assistant to being a support worker, you would understand that. Hey, it's like you went from... It's just the transition is very sweet. And this one involved supporting clients with learning disability, clients with autism, clients with epilepsy, and it was just really easy in comparison to what I was doing before. It was not domiciliary, so they were situated in a particular home, and it was my job to just go there and care for them. Now, the job paid me starting salary of £11 because I was a night worker. So for the day workers, they earned £10 and I earned £11. And when I say the job was just I feel it was chill, mainly because as a night worker, my job was more of cleaning than actually caring for people. Most times when I resume, the clients are already transitioning into sleep mode, so most times I'll just be there cleaning. That's just it. Sometimes some clients could wake up in the middle of the night and I'll just maybe try to make them sleep back, but that was just it. It was sweet, no complaints there at all. So that's that. Now the third job I did, which I said, 3, 5, and 6 are juicy. So this one is being a sexual violence practitioner. Now the juice about this one is that it's very dear to my heart because this job involved me supporting survivors of rape and sexual violence. Now, if you know me, you would know why this is very dear to my heart, because right from when I was younger, my life's pathway has always involved supporting women, especially that are survivors. And that's even one of the reasons why I studied law. So even when I became a lawyer, the only court cases that I really wanted to do were the court cases involving something like this. So I have worked in law firms, NGOs, where they support survivors of various forms of abuse. So me working in this kind of company as a student was just chef kiss for me. And my starting salary was £12.5, which was really okay for me as a student. The things I liked about this job is the fact that the culture in the organization was very positive. It was filled with like a lot of support, which I absolutely loved. By the way, I'm using past tense for every job I've done because these were jobs I did as an international student. So I'm focusing on jobs I did then, not jobs I'm doing now, because some of them actually interlink with what I'm doing now, some don't. So now for this job, what I liked the most about it was the fact that I was able to make a difference in people's lives. Like, see, I'm a very empathetic person, and most times I feel like I've just used it for free. For instance, if I hear a bad news happening to someone, I can literally be so moved to even tears, even though I do not know the person. But now I was doing the job that involved me literally holding space for someone that is a survivor, literally holding the person's burden, like being there for the person, listening to the person, and you just know that. See, I really liked it. I really liked it. I also like the fact that this was the first job that I did as an international student that really counted in my CV, because obviously I have various CVs. When I was applying to be a care worker, it's not the same CV with when I want to have like a permanent job after my graduation. So this skill set in this job really equipped me with having like a stronger CV that I loved. So that's something else that I loved about this job. Now the things I did not like about this job relates more to being in Nigeria. Okay, wait, before I talk about being a Nigerian, firstly, there is something called vicarious trauma, and that is literally the trauma that you have because you've been exposed to someone else's trauma. And I did not know anything about this before until I started the job. And that's when I realized that when you're supporting a survivor, you can also be traumatized, because let's face it, if you're a woman here, bear me witness, the number of women that have experienced sexual violence is very high. In fact, this is something I once told someone, and the person was saying, that's an exaggeration. I told the person that, see, 80% of women have experienced one form of sexual abuse in their lifetime. It may not be the R word, but in some levels, a lot of women have experienced it. And I remember when I was saying it and someone was telling me, that's an exaggeration, no? How can I say 80%? I did not argue with him. I just told him, you know what? Go and ask your girlfriends. Go and ask your sisters. If they feel you are a safe person, they will tell you the truth. This person actually went to go and ask the woman in his life, and he came to me to tell me, wow, you are correct. So when I say 80%, deep down, I even want to say 95%, because that's the facts. So for me to have a job where I'm holding space for these people, it can also trigger, that's the truth, it really can. Let me know in the comment section if you are feeling what I'm saying, because I'm not even joking. Now, obviously in this organization, we did not support only women, we also supported men. But maybe because of me being a woman, being exposed to like the traumatic things that people had experienced was a lot. And it also gave me a lot of brain reset, because I used to think being in the UK would lessen some form of abuse that people faced, or let's just face it, women faced. But I realized that things are happening even in the UK, because the kind of stories I will hear, I'm like, ooh. So it was a lot of trauma. The good thing though is that we had a lot of supervisions to support us. When you are listening to people's trauma, it can be a lot even for you. Now, another thing that I did not like about the job, no, let me not say I did not like, but I would say I found challenging, was being a Nigerian. Obviously, in Nigeria, there is nothing like marital rape, even though, even as a lawyer, it's something I found very disheartening. But being in this job, you would see a lot of things. You hear someone say, I was sleeping and my husband penetrated. Now, you would hear lots of stories like that. And what that does to you, especially when you've grown up in a setting where these things are seen as normal, even though you know that it's definitely not normal, it's definitely not right, it makes you hyper vigilant. It makes you like, One day I was telling someone that, if we want to go by the strict interpretation of what this sexual abuse entails, then a lot of people, a lot of men have actually committed sexual abuse. Whether they know it or not, whether they will accept it or not, but it is actually the fact. So the challenging part about that job was it made me a little bit hyper vigilant. Like, it made me more careful, more aware, more, I don't know, the word is hypervigilant basically. And also it exposed me to how difficult things are for even people of color, because you would realize that when you are in the UK, as a black person, if you experience this form of abuse, it is even more difficult for you to get justice, especially if your perpetrator is maybe a white man. It's just different. So that's it about this one. You see, I said numbers 3, 5, and 6 are juicy. That's why I'm talking too much about it. Let's move on to the 4th job. Now, in this job, I was a healthcare assistant. Again, remember my first job was domiciliary. This one was in a nursing home. So they were all in a particular place. The good thing was that it did not involve me going from home to home, and I did not have to deal with like animals or anything like that. And my pay then was £14, which was a huge leap, and it was really amazing. I liked the job. I think what I did not like about the job was that it was way too fast paced. I did day shift, so in the morning, Martha is shouting, Mary is screaming, Sarah is jumping. It was just a lot. I say, you people will not kill me. This one was okay. It really paid the bills. Now the 5th job. Hey, this one, take a chair, take a zobo, take zobo, sorry, and let's enjoy. I was a cleaner. Now the pay was, this one, I have to gist you. The pay was £30 per room. So let me give you the gist though. One day I was on my own. One of my acquaintances reached out to me and he was telling me, see, there is this hostel. Basically, this my acquaintance had a contract with the University of Lincoln. So what happened was they contracted him to like bring cleaners to clean rooms. So as people vacate an accommodation, we the cleaners will clean the rooms. So as I just heard £30 per room, I say, sign me up. Hey, Igbo girl, I was already thinking, this is a good job. Because the good thing about this job was, it was cash at hand, which is amazing. Cash at hand, you don't have to like pay any tax on it, because it's literally cash at hand. And I was already calculating, okay, they say I'll get £30 for one room I'll clean. I was like, me that I have to clean my room, what is there? my mind, I'm like, okay, so in a day, I would clean like 4 rooms. 120k in the bag. If I do this for 3-4 days, I have money. I've already calculated, like, this is how much of my school fees this will pay. This is how much. I was already calculating. Then I went to do the work. I almost died. The work. Bad. What I did not fathom is the fact that a lot of people, when they are leaving their rooms, when they are vacating their rooms, they leave it a mess. And it was a mess. It's not just cleaning, no normal cleaning. It has to be spick and span. It has to be. I cleaned 1 room. I spent close to 6-7 hours cleaning 1 room. When I was done, my back, this time my back, my front, my middle, my behind, like that 30 pounds, I went to go and buy paracetamol. Like I met one acquaintance and I told her, you know what, don't worry, we can do this. I now told my acquaintance that, you know what, let's combine energy. So we'll clean a room together. That way we would be faster and we would have, like, it would be less stressful. I thought that would help us, but it did not help at all. Like, the work is hard. I know a friend doing a cleaning job, and actually she's like, it's actually very chill, because some people have gotten cleaning jobs that are very chill, but this one, I went there 2 times and I told myself that nothing, even if they are paying £100 per room, okay, wait, I don't know, but well, it was £30, so it was just not worth it to me at all. Like, it was not worth the stress. I said, no, let me just go back to my care work instead of doing this one. So that was that. I could show you some clips of the cleaning process or what I did, because it's been a long time ago. I think it's been over a year plus that I did that job. I did it for just 2 days. That job was the shortest job I've ever done in my life. After 2 days, I called my acquaintant, the one that gave me the contract, and I told him, please, on no account should you ever call me for this kind of job again. He was not laughing. He was saying that, yes, that the job is actually more difficult than people think it is. So that was it about the job. Now the last job, the 6th job, which is also juicy, is a support work job in a mental health facility. Actually, it's not really a mental health facility, but the clients have mental health issues. So this one, it's the best job I have done. Like, when I say the best, I mean the best in terms of enjoyment, the best in terms of the ease, the best in terms of the money. I was earning about £16 per hour. In fact, there are sometimes I would even say I earned close to 17, 18 because of the nature of the job. Let me give you the gist. So the job involved going to someone's house, not domiciliary that you're thinking, no. So all these rich British kids that have some mental health challenges, I will be required to go to their home and look after them. Now, these are people that have no incontinence issue. They can eat, they can do anything. They just have some little mental health issue. So I'll just go there. And when I say this job was chill, the job was chill. This is the job that made me leave Lincoln. I would leave Lincoln to go to Leeds for a job, and they'll pay for my transportation, they'll pay for my feeding, they'll book me in a hotel. In fact, it was chilled. I'll go bowling with my clients, I'll go to the cinema. Of course, my employer will pay for the cinema experience, pay for everything. It was just the best job ever. I literally was chilling. Chilling with the big boys. Then guess what though? When I started the job, we were very few there. Now, as people started coming in, lots of people started coming in, and before you know it, one thing. I don't want to go into details, but the thing I did not like about this job was that it was not a stable source of income. So, as I've mentioned, the job is sweet, Abby, it's sweet. But guess how often that job comes? Once in a long time. Because the job was so juicy that everyone was like rushing for it. So, before you get a job, so that time I could not even rely on the job because before it will come. But the good thing is that when it comes, you are settled for, even for the, like, I don't want to say for the month because that may be an exaggeration, but you are settled for a long time. Now, another thing I don't like about this job was the fact that, you see, as I was talking, it was sweet too. I remember when I was going for the job at first, I was wondering, these people don't have any mental health difficulties. They are just normal people. They are just normal people. Until one day, hey, me self, I say, Sean Ma, you actually have mental health issue. The way client changed it for me. Hey, fuck you! Like, I see cry, I know if you cry that day. The client showed me pepper. The client dealt with me. Client that said she will call police for me. One that wanted to beat me up. I say, see, in this life, self, kai. To make money, you must have resilience. So that's the only thing about that job. The fact that it could be going so smoothly, but the day it wants to burst, you will pay for all the money you have eaten. Like, you will literally pay. So that's it, besties, about the jobs I've done as an international student in the UK. This was such a story time, and I hope you've enjoyed listening to me.
By the way, if you need this guide, which contains 50 interview questions and answers for your healthcare job interview, then just click the link in the description box and make your purchase.
So besties, if you've enjoyed this video, I want to see you like it because that motivates me to create more content such as this. Also, if you've not subscribed to my channel, I really don't know what you're waiting for. Now, I'm going to link up a video that explains the difference between care work, support work, and even social work. Because today I've told you a lot about, okay, domiciliary care, this one support, and it can be confusing to some people. So in case you belong to the group that is confused, after this video I've linked up, you will not be confused ever again. If there is any part of this video that you want me to emphasize more on, I want to see that in the comment section and I'll be sure to respond. So until I see you next time, besties, stay blessed, remain happy, and bye.